Today I'm going to be showing you guys my first day of shooting street photography with my brand new Lumix S5. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys my first day of shooting with my new Lumix S5, as well as the 20 to 60mm kit lens. And this day of shooting street photography was truly amazing and kind of surprising because it was my first day shooting with the Lumix S5, like I said before, and it was really shocking that I got so many great photos from the day, even though it was my first time using this camera body. And I don't know if it is my ability as a photographer or if it's the quality of the camera, probably a mixture of both, but I got some amazing images and I'm excited to show you guys some of them. So in this video, I am using the Lumix S5 as well as the 20 to 60mm f3.5 to 5.6 kit lens. And that is all I am using, no filters, nothing else. I am just recording this POV footage on my GoPro Hero12, like in all of my behind the scenes videos. So I'm going to start showing you guys the footage from the day, so I can kind of talk about the Lumix S5 and the 20 to 60mm kit lens, as well as some of the photos that I got in the day. Alright, so now that I'm showing you guys the video footage, this is my first day of shooting with the Lumix S5, like I said before, and I really do love this camera, especially after this day of shooting. I really just felt familiar and comfortable shooting with it. This is the first photo of the day. There's no edit on it. It's kind of a whatever photo, just get the first photo out of the way and kind of start shooting basically. And then this is the second photo. I'm trying to use the reflections in the glass here to try and get a kind of a cool look. There's not really a clear subject in that photo, so it didn't really turn out to be anything super special or interesting. But the idea was definitely there. I'm actually starting to get different ideas here, and I get this photo. It's a nice scene. Again, not a good subject or a clear subject in that photo. And then with this shot, I'm actually trying to frame up this guy on the bottom right there in the orange. I kind of like how that turned out a bit better than the other two. And then I end up getting this shot here. For some reason, I love how this photo turned out. I love the building. You got Luke over there, my friend, over on the left side, and I really like how that turned out. And then as I walk down here, I see this frame and I really like this composition, so I'm kind of just waiting for someone to walk through that little area and kind of be a subject in this photo that I want to get. And I set my camera up and getting my focus right, and these two people actually start walking through the composition. I get this shot and I really love how that photo turned out. I love that they are wearing white pants, and also just it looks perfect. I really do like how the colors turned out. The frame of the building with the trees, it looks really nice. And then just across the street, I see this red Mini Cooper. Get this photo. I like how the building kind of points down towards that little red Mini Cooper and the contrast between the red and the blue. It's kind of nice. And then down the street, I'm just getting this photo here of these buildings. I love the contrast, the white and the dark, and the nice blue of the sky. I really do love how that looks. And then now just a quick shot of the street here. I do like how this photo turned out. I like the colors and the contrast of like those really dark windows. I wish I got the car a bit closer to the crosswalk sign there, but I waited a bit too long, I guess, but I like how it turned out enough. I end up seeing this little sphere in the road. I'm trying to get a shot with it. I was trying out some portrait shots, but then I get this one, and I like the contrast, the blues, everything about the last photo kind of applies to that one, and that kind of works in a nice photo set with the last photo. Then I get this shot, a simple shot of this building, really nice, beautiful blue sky, and the architecture kind of goes nicely in that photo. And then a bit further down the block, I end up seeing this really nice big tree and this really colorful mural on the wall and this car. I get this photo. It's kind of a nice little simple street photo. And then just down the alleyway here, I was walking up to it and I was watching these people cross by, and I noticed that this is actually a really nice frame. I end up getting this shot, and I love the blues. Once again, it was a beautiful summer day, and I really like how that photo turned out. So now that I'm in this area of downtown, I end up seeing this like bar, like cafe sign. I really like the font on this sign, and I'm getting some shots of the reflection in the window, and I really like how this turns out. I love the orange and the blue and kind of aqua green colors. The contrast on that looks really nice. And then just across the sidewalk here, parked right against that building on the road, is this Mercedes. Just got a quick photo of that. It looks nice in a photo set with that first photo of the cafe sign. And then just up these steps, I end up seeing this like kind of like a sandwich open sign. I really thought it was kind of interesting. I got that photo. It looks okay, but I might go back there and get a better one a different time. And then I get this shot of this Papa John sign. Just a passing shot, to be honest. Nothing too special. And then I saw these really nice orange umbrellas. I got Luke to kind of go down into the sunlight and act as a subject, and I really like how that turned out. And then down the street here, I just see this fire truck kind of crossing the street in the intersection, and I get this photo, kind of just quick and kind of spontaneous. I like how it turned out enough, given how quick it was. And then I get this really nice wide vertical shot of this street, like lamppost sort of thing, and I really like how it looks with all the street signs and the lights. I really like those two shots together. And then here, like kind of closer towards the library, that's actually a picture of the library. Nothing too special. I kind of like how it looks. And then this is actually the Alberta Art Gallery, or the Art Gallery of Alberta. I get this photo, a beautiful blue sky, super contrasty, and the architecture on this building is pretty interesting. And then I get this closer detail shot of this art gallery building. I like how it turned out with the reflections of the sun on that metal. And then I see this kind of construction site area, and I really like how these bright orange yellow like arrow signs and this really bright yellow crane looks, especially with the sun only hitting that top part of the crane. I felt like that kind of added a lot to that photo. And then I'm just at this parking like entrance to like a parking garage here. I get this photo. I thought those vents or whatever they are at the top there, I thought those looked quite cool, so I kind of got that photo. It kind of looks interesting. And then I get this shot of this danger keep out sign that kind of looks worn down and stuff. I like the contrast of the orange and the blue sky. It really looks nice. And then I see these guys kind of pressure washing the street here in front of the library. I get that photo. I really like the bright vibrant vests that they're wearing, like the high visibility vests. It looks really nice, especially with the nice blue and brightness of the summer day that it was. Just a quick photo of this library parkade sign, and right here is actually one of my favorite shots from the year. It's of this Volkswagen, and you guys can't see it, but on the left side there's actually a guy who just walks out on a phone call, and I end up getting this shot. I really love it because you can see his silhouette. You got the leading lines in that top awning, as well as that yellow stripe on the pavement kind of leads towards him. And it's really nice with the blue and the reflection of the nice skyscrapers. Get another shot here, kind of closer up. I like how that turned out as well. And then I'm getting a kind of like a photo set shot, kind of to match with the initial photo. I get this photo. I really like how that looks, especially in a photo set when I combine them. Whenever I'm posting them on my Instagram or on my website, I like to have complementary photos. And then I get a closer detail shot of this Mercedes that is kind of parked under this awning at this hotel. I really like the bright, vibrant yellow taxi that's in that shot there. And then the nice contrasty black Mercedes looks really nice. And this is the last photo of the day. And it is a super spontaneous shot. This car was just crossing the intersection, and that's basically it for the day. Alright, so now that I'm finished up showing you guys the footage from the day of shooting, I'm just going to give my thoughts on the Lumix S5. And my initial thoughts from this first day of shooting is this camera is amazing, and I don't know why more people aren't using Lumix cameras. They are such an amazing value for your money, and they take amazing photos and videos. When I was out using this camera, I felt like the autofocus was very snappy and super accurate. I had absolutely no issues whatsoever using the autofocus. The lighting was very good and the conditions were very good, so I don't think any camera would really struggle, but this camera was just very fast and very quick. A lot of people say that the contrast detect autofocus, which is the autofocus system that this S5 is using, since it's the Mark I version, is kind of finicky and kind of loses focus. For photo, at least in my opinion, this camera is just as good as any other camera, especially for street photography. And it was very snappy and quick and accurate, like I said. So absolutely no issues with the autofocus. In terms of the resolution and image quality, it is spectacular. I absolutely love the color science, and also the raw files from this camera were super easy to work with. There is lots of dynamic range with this camera. I was able to raise the shadows and reduce the highlights a lot, and just regain a lot of color and everything from this camera. It was very impressive, but I have such a nice time working with these raw files, and just overall working with this camera on my first day of shooting. I felt super familiar with the layout of the menus, with the layout of the buttons and controls on the camera body itself, because Lumix has such a nice consumer friendly, I guess, like kind of just a really good user design with their menus, and also with the controls on the camera body itself. A lot of it is kind of translated from and brought over from older Lumix bodies, and it all kind of stays the same. There's not major changes because their entire menu system and control system is so perfect that they don't have to change it. So when I picked up this camera and started to use it, it was super familiar and easy to shoot with. And I got a lot of amazing photos because of that, partly due to the camera, but also my photography ability, kind of a mixture of both. But this camera definitely did help me get a lot of amazing photos. So overall, my opinion on this camera is that it is an amazing value and just an overall amazing camera to use for both photography and videography. And you definitely should not write it off as a video only camera. So now I kind of want to talk about the kit lens that I was using, the 20 to 60 millimeter. And like I said earlier in this video, this lens is super versatile and is very good for street photography, as that focal range is really nice for getting those super wide angle shots, since it's wider than 24 millimeters, and also getting up there to 50 to 60 millimeters whenever you need that extra bit of reach. And it is the perfect focal range for myself when I'm doing street photography, because I don't typically shoot at any focal length longer than 50 millimeters. I typically shoot between 20 to 50 millimeters. but I found myself shooting a lot at 20 to 28, maybe 35 when I was out using this lens, and I got some amazing images from it. The image quality on this kit lens is actually really surprising. It's quite sharp, the colors look good, and it doesn't feel cheap in any way. It has a metal mount, and it just felt and handled really nicely, like any other lens that I would use that would probably cost a lot more. So overall, this 20 to 60 millimeter lens is a very versatile street photography lens, and I had a pleasure working with it and shooting with it in this day of shooting, and it got me some amazing images. So now that I'm finished up talking about the Lumix S5 and the 20 to 60 millimeter lens, I kind of just want to get into my favorite photo from the day, and that would actually have to be two photos. The first one being the shot of the Volkswagen SUV with the nice reflections of these skyscrapers on the hood, as well as those leading lines pointing towards the silhouette of a guy taking a phone call at a hotel. I absolutely love this photo. I love the leading lines. I love how it kind of has a spontaneous element, as that guy just kind of came and walked out, and it wasn't planned to capture him in the photo, but as soon as I saw him, I took the photo and it really worked out. It kind of adds a second subject to that image along with the Volkswagen, and I really like how the leading lines in that awning and also the yellow line on the pavement kind of leads and draws the eye towards his silhouette. The second photo from the day that kind of works in a photo set with that first photo would have to be the image of the blue windows at that hotel. I really like the contrast and the colors of that photo, and more importantly, I love how that photo ties into the first one, and it looks amazing as a photo set. So those are my favorite photos from the day, and it's kind of hard to choose a favorite one, but those are definitely my favorites, and honestly, that is my favorite photo set from the year, or at least one of my favorite photo sets from the year. Some of my other favorites from the day would have to be the picture of the truck going through the intersection. I love how spontaneous that was. It was kind of just happening. I saw it crossing through the intersection. I quickly pointed my camera and got that shot, and the composition ended up looking very nice, and the focus actually hit really fast, and I was really happy with how that turned out. It would have been a shame if the focus missed, but this camera is really good, and the autofocus, like I said, is super accurate and quick, which helped me get that shot. So those are some of my favorites from the day, and this was a really good day of shooting photography. So lastly, to kind of wrap up this video, I'm just going to ask you guys to check out my social media pages and my Instagram, which can be found at bmintram. I post a lot of the photos that I got from this day on my pages, so you guys should go check them out to see them and my other work that I post on there. And also check out my website, which is bmintram.myportfolio.com. I post most of my kind of my best work on that page, and I kind of talk more about myself as a photographer, so make sure to go check out those pages for more photos from me, and also to kind of learn more about me as a photographer. And lastly, I'm just going to ask you guys to leave a like on this video and also subscribe to my channel, as it helps me out a lot as a creator, and I'll see you guys in the next one.